When did you have to choose between your father and the man you love? My father said if I married the man I love, he'd make sure no one from the family would show up. A week earlier, Daniel had proposed to me. He was smiling, trembling, crying all at once. He said he didn't deserve me, but I knew he did. We'd been through everything together. His recovery, his guilt, his silence. Of course, I said yes. Daniel had been sober for almost 2 years. 3 years ago, he pawned his late mother's ring for drug money. He crashed his motorcycle while high. But after his last overdose, the one that stopped his heart for nearly 2 minutes, he finally turned his life around. When my father heard about the engagement, his voice was calm, dangerously calm. Daniel's a junkie, he said. Junkies don't change. I tried to remind him that Daniel had been clean for nearly 2 years, but my father just said, your brother was clean for 8 months when he died. If you go through with this wedding, I'll make sure you're the only one there. I thought he was bluffing. He wasn't. He called everyone, told my uncles Daniel was still using and that he'd seen him buying drugs downtown, told my cousins Daniel had stolen money from him. Lies, all lies, but it worked. People started backing out. Then he messaged Daniel's parents on Facebook claiming he'd found needles in Daniel's car. Daniel called me that night. His voice was shaking. Your father's telling everyone I relapsed. My own dad wants me to check back into rehab. I could hear the pain in his voice, that helpless, hollow kind of pain that no words can fix. Then things got worse. My father called the venue pretending to be me and tried to cancel our booking. He left fake reviews online saying the place hosted drug parties. He even called Daniel's workplace, claiming Daniel was high on the job. Daniel got suspended until he could prove otherwise. I was shaking with rage. I drove to my father's house. You're destroying an innocent man's life, I shouted. He stared at me with that cold, tired look. I'm saving you from planning a funeral, he said quietly. Your brother swore those drugs weren't his too. Now he's in the ground. I won't bury another child. If ruining this wedding keeps you alive, I'll burn Daniel's whole life down. And he did. He posted flyers near Daniel's job saying, have you seen this drug dealer? Daniel sent me a photo of his coworkers staring at him. My father even called the church and told the priest Daniel was an atheist. The priest called us, suggesting we find another venue. If I supported Daniel, my father would destroy me too. But if I stood with my father, I'd lose Daniel forever. A week before the wedding, my father went silent. That scared me more than his anger ever had. One evening, I saw his car outside the community center. Curious, he said he was going to a friend's house. I went inside and followed the voices to the basement. It was an NA meeting. Through the door window, I saw Daniel standing at the podium. My father sat in the back row, arms crossed. Today makes 5 years clean, Daniel said softly. I've been telling everyone 2 years because I was ashamed. Ashamed I started using at 13 after my dad broke my jaw. Ashamed I stayed high for 7 years straight, but I've been clean for 5. He lifted a folder full of drug tests, meeting signatures, therapy records, proof. Someone's father has been following me, calling my job, telling lies. So here's my truth. The room was silent. Every eye turned to my father. The meeting leader stood and said, sir, you've been coming here for months, waiting to catch this man using. Instead, you've watched him sponsor 3 people. You owe him an apology. My father's face went pale. I was sure he was lying, he said, voice cracking. I thought I was protecting my daughter. Daniel's voice trembled. Then protect her by telling the truth. My father broke down. He called everyone, admitted he'd lied, but the damage was done. Most people didn't show up. The wedding that was supposed to hold 60 people had barely 12. My father sat alone in the back pew. That was 5 years ago. Daniel's been clean ever since. We have a daughter now, and she'll grow up never knowing the version of her grandfather who tried to destroy her father's life. My father still goes to those meetings. He doesn't speak. He just sits in the corner, listening to the man he once called a lost cause.